Hello. Now we're at the 7th month of the year, just starting July. Half of the year, 2018, has gone by. And it's really a way of, in my mind at least, of marking time as we look forward now to, especially we're doing fiscal work, monetary work, the fiscal year of 1819. I always enjoy coming a step closer to heaven, keeping in mind that our goal every day, the goal of life, is to be with the Lord forever, the happiness of the Lord forever in heaven. This is the 14th Sunday in Ordinary Time. The first reading, Ezekiel chapter 2, verses 2 to 5. God sends his spokesperson to his people who do not want to be God's people, but rather to belong to themselves and not to God. God says, at least they will know that Ezekiel is a prophet sent to them by God. Then in the third reading, Mark chapter 1, verse, I didn't mark this correctly, so I'll have to take a look here. Okay. So it's Mark chapter 1, Mark chapter 6, verses 1 to 6a. Okay, I have to correct that. Jesus came to his native place. He preached in the synagogue to the people who knew him from birth. Many who heard him were astonished. They said, "Where did this man get all this? Is he not the carpenter, the son of Mary, the brother of James and Joseph and Judas and Simon? Are not his sisters here with us?" And they took offense at him. As Catholics, we understand that using the terminology brothers and sisters does not mean that they are the children of Mary, but rather they are cousins of Jesus, and so members of Jesus' extended family. Also, I understand that they took offense at him to mean that all those who knew him from birth or for many years before his public ministry thought that they really knew this fellow Jesus. And now Jesus was falsely trying to come off as someone totally different than the person they had known all those past years. However, Jesus was proving himself to be someone who had come of age, to be the person he was really meant to be all along. Now he was manifesting the divine call he had received by the authority he was showing in his words and miracles. They were too locked into a previous conception that they had of the person of Jesus. They were being too human and nature-bound, and not allowing the spiritual, which is really the Holy Spirit, to change them. So he was not able to perform any mighty deed there, apart from curing a few sick people. The object of the miracles of curing people was to build on their faith in him, help them increase their spiritual life. Jesus had no basis to work miracles, since they clearly refused to have any faith in him. He was amazed at their lack of faith. Then Paul's second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 12, verses 7 to 10. Because of the abundance of the revelations, a thorn in the flesh was given to me, an angel of Satan, to beat me, to keep me from being too elated. 3 times I begged the Lord about this, that it might leave me. But he said to me, "My grace is sufficient for you, for power is made perfect in weakness." The notes that I had read, claim that Paul was afflicted not by a physical or spiritual problem, but by a person whom he found to be particularly challenging. Paul had been gifted with quite a few visions and ecstasies, but since he was not in heaven, dead to this world, he still needed to live in the dirt of this earth. Paul continues, Therefore I am content with weaknesses, insult, hardships, persecutions, and constraints for the sake of Christ. For when I am weak, then I am strong. Paul is content because he knows that the hardships endured with Christ on the cross lead to the joy of the resurrection. If we in our own right feel strong without God, that means we have filled up ourselves with our own selves, leaving no room for God to be in us. Feeling strong in our own right means that we have deceived ourselves into thinking we can do for ourselves what only God can do for us. Coming to the recognition and acceptance that only God can give us the strength we need to prosper spiritually against the difficulties of this world is the first step toward holiness. Jesus in John chapter 15 verse 5 said, I am the vine, you are the branches. Whoever remains in me and I in him will bear much fruit, because without me you can do nothing. Without me you can do nothing. Dear Lord, fill us every day with yourself.